Oh, here I am. Perfect. So yeah, so the topics today I discussed is a little bit about myself, about Sleepagotchi, and then 3 fails we had. So idea fail, fundraising fail, and a product fail. And after I wrote that down, I think everything that can go wrong went wrong. So idea, fundraising, product, it's basically startup. So yeah, I'll go on that. So my background is I actually started my career in consulting, in a lower environment, focused on data analysis, financial, it's a very corporate job. Then I transitioned to tech, had a brief stint at Duolingo, and completed my MBA at Harvard last year. Myself, I'm from Belarus and worked in and studied in Minsk before. What is Sleepagotchi? So one slide, we basically aggregate data from non-wearable devices like iPhone and Android, or wearable like Aura, Fitbit, Apple Watch, and other apps. We put it into our app, and then we give you different tools, different game rewards for you. So right now, this is a virtual pet that you're raising. And this is all in production. We are pre-release right now. We developed a demo version beforehand, and we actually grew a community in Asia, especially in Japan. This is not what we expected, but we saw some organic uptake in Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan, so it was really cool to see. And yeah, we ended up raising 6 million in 2 rounds. We raised 3.5 million in October of 2022, and then in January in 2024, we raised 2.5 million in a follow-on round. And yeah, we had quite a few of investors as well on the cap table. So yeah, and how did you do this? And basically, lesson number 1 or fail number 1 is let's build a product that nobody wants. Or it all started with a water bottle. So how did the idea came to us? I was basically having a workshop at the business school, very classic, very standard. It's like, come up with a problem, see a problem, find a solution, design, make a design. And it was a very workshopy thing. We had, I think, 20 different tables with small teams. Every team had to redesign like a special product, like a wallet, an umbrella, a water bottle, etc. So one team, so we had to design the wallet, which is very boring, and then one team designed a unique water bottle. And there was literally like a 2-hour exercise. At the end of 2-hour exercise, you go around, you put a sticker next to the idea that you like the most. So basically, it was a very friendly thing. You put a sticker next to the idea that you like the most. And it wasn't my team that won. It was another idea that won in this workshop, which was a smart water bottle. You drink water, and you earn points, you earn tokens, it's a game, etc. And I thought, oh my goodness, sounds a bit ridiculous. But then I saw that this idea had the most stickers on top of it. And I thought to myself, man, this is validation, like 10 stickers from all the students right now, we should build it. And I rushed home, I called my friend, also from Belarus, and I said, hey, we need to build it. He's like, no, I don't like this idea, I don't know. Drinking water, gamification, sounds boring. I said, no, Alex, trust me. It's not even my idea, somebody else's idea, and it's been validated by 8 stickers on this board. So next night, he sends me this photo. It's like, look, here's your prototype. As you want to, here's the water bottle, here's the phone. So it took, a few days of convincing him to help us build it. And effectively, 3-4 weeks later, we had the prototype done where you would collect like stuff for drinking water. Very basic prototype, like garage-style stuff. Yeah, and then we realized that there's a cool graph. Then we come up with basically there's a demographic who tracks water intake, and there's demographic who are interested in our game, and the target market is very small for us, very small interception. As we find out, I went around the school, I went around to my friends, etc., and I found out that the only people who track water intake are usually women, 25 plus, etc., who don't really play a lot of games, especially, like kind of mid-core games that we were going for. So we were like, okay, well, Alex, you were right, that was a stupid idea, sorry for that, but we already built the app, let's pivot, we already have something. And one of the issues was that with water bottles is that it's actually super hard to track. You need to like buy a water bottle, you need to pull the water inside it. It's hard, like it's actually hard. And if you drink a Coke, if you drink a beer. So we thought, well, what's easy to track? Food, calories, hard to track. Exercise, hard to track. But sleep, we thought, well, everybody uses an alarm clock. An alarm clock is the most basic sleep tracker, so let's build the sleep tracker. And we ended up building a sleep tracker instead with a heavy gamification element inspired a lot by Duolingo, and then it started taking off organically in Asia, as I mentioned before. So this was the first lesson. If your idea, sucks, don't be afraid, just pivot. Fail number 2, right? After we started getting traction, we were like, okay, now it's time to fundraise. And there are 3,000 funds in the US. Let's speak to the top 2. And I think, if you know it, you probably know that we decided to speak. We need to speak to Andreessen Horowitz and Sequoia. Those are the 2 most famous names. If we raised from them, everything is going to be like in chocolate. So we actually ended up getting calls with both of them, with A16Z and Sequoia, with their partners. Was July 22 and July 23, what I see. It was a good week, 2 days in a row. I thought, oh my God, 2 funds, etc. Awesome. And those were the only funds we spoke to. So we were lucky enough that we got meeting with them, but we knew nothing about fundraising. And we spoke with them, we said, wow, so cool. And then no reply. No reply, no reply, no reply. And then boom, reply number 1, good idea, blah, 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 but unfortunately you want to see more. Actually, very nice reply. And then Sequoia just, unfortunately, we're going to bow out. So we were like, well, I mean, we have traction, but why didn't they follow up? And then after speaking, with people who raise money, it's basically a numbers game. So it was such a big mistake to go just to 2 funds. I think it was kind of very, very self-assured from our side. So actually, in the end, we decided, okay, well, fundraising is about the numbers, it's about momentum. Let's take this very, very seriously. And we basically, our calendars look like that. On the left is basically back-to-back meetings. We spoke to 70 plus funds for the last fundraise. So the biggest lesson for us was, it's a numbers game. And also one advice I also heard is that if you really want to raise from top brand funds, which I could ask if it's actually like a good idea for various reasons, but it's actually better for them to come after you have a term sheet or after you have momentum, because we found out that it's very like a mimetic, the way that funds sometimes think. So if you have momentum, if we bring them term sheet, they accelerate the way they think. So the strategy that I heard is the C-A-B tactic. So you start with like C-tier investors. First, you refine your pitch. It's like maybe angels, etc. Then you go to the A-tier investors, like the big guys, and you can fall back to B if it doesn't work, but you end up with a fundraise. Because if you start with A, you probably might end up with A as well. And then the fail number 3 was about let's build a sleep tracker with some gamification. And this is a little bit of more of a niche topic in a sense, but we were really inspired by Duolingo when we were building the product. The first angel investor was the VP of product at Duolingo. And we thought, well, let's do something similar. Let's just add a sleep tracker, add a leaderboard, add some more stuff. It's going to allow us to monetize later on pretty fine. Everybody sleeps. It's a good idea. It's going to monetize. And then when you thought about actually making money in a more, analytical way, we looked at all the different sleep trackers in the world on mobile, and we found out that all the sleep trackers generate 92 million revenue per year. This is for the entire category. This is not enough to become a unicorn. This is, we can't build a category-winning product in this category because the category doesn't provide you a lot of upside. But at the same time, we were also a game, all right? And games is a $100 billion market per year. So if we just capture literally 0.1% of the market, we are still going to be larger than the entire sleep tracker market on the App Store and Android Play Store. So we decided to pivot. Actually, not to pivot, but I would say we started off as a gamified app for sleep and became a fully fledged game for sleep. So we actually monetize as a game by selling you virtual items for your progression. And this is another challenge because we started off as a tech company and we became a game development company in that regards. And Some people, for example, the person who helped me at the beginning, we bought him out with investors because he was not a game developer and he didn't want to build a game. In any case, the fact that a game for sleep is better than a gamified app validated then 1 year later since we started. So this year by Pokemon Sleep, which is an app from Japan by Nintendo. It's basically you wake up in the morning, you track your sleep, collect Pokemon. And it generates 100 million per year, already more than all the sleep trackers in the App Store. So at least here we're correct, right? So that it's more, probably from a business perspective, much more wiser to do a game than an app. For us, it's been a challenge really to start to develop a game. We didn't necessarily came from a very a game development background. We came from a gamification background. And we constantly try to improve the capabilities, try to learn. And here you can see, here's the prototype on the very left, how we started it in 2022. And then I'm pretty proud what we're able to accomplish effectively 2 years later in our graphical and gameplay capabilities. The way we do that is we partner with a lot of people in North America, in LA, in Hollywood. On character design, we work with Charles Ellison on the right, who used to be the head of DreamWorks head of modeling at DreamWorks, and Rachel Type Daniels on environment design. So we try to take Eastern European talent, so people from Belarus and Ukraine mostly, a lot of them here in Poland, and we really try to bring world-class expertise and develop something that hasn't been done before. So here's an example of how we work. So Charles, who designed a lot of Puss in Boots, for example, he worked on that cartoon. He helps us with our character design and helps upskill our people. And I think we pretty much right now this is a pre-production. This is how the game looks right now. I think game development is quite different from a startup perspective. It's the way you test hypothesis is very different. You need to. That's why we see investing in gameplay in games is very different than from other products. So it's another topic. But in any case, we are coming out soon, later this year, early next year. Would be cool for you to download and try the game once it's out. And in the meantime, actually just moved to Warsaw, so would love to connect, help with any fundraising or any tips on startups. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Anton. You can follow Anton. It's LinkedIn, yeah? Okay. Yeah, thank you for a nice speech. I was impressed by the way you went, you got to this current milestone by going through all these challenges and fun stories. Yeah, and guys, by the way, yeah, I have a question. Who uses this kind of apps to fall asleep? No, really, you should use. Yeah, because I'm listening to Spotify music, there is a genre sleep, and I sleep like this. And okay, so do you have questions to Anton to get this wonderful ticket?
Thanks much for your presentation. If I have ticket to you, I will give it to you because I was impressed. So my question, how you have achieved a lot of meetings with investors? You have a good calendar, right? But what is your strategy to reach them to make these schedules?
So what really helps is you start with angel investors, and they usually are connected to other VC funds. They act effectively as investors and scouts. And then after you already have an investor, like an anchor investor, they usually would do introductions to other funds as well. I would also try and find other founders, just literally email them, hey, do you know any investors from your cap table who might be interested in our product? I think that works pretty well as well. So I would say existing investors, people who are joining this current investing round, and founder friends, usually those three are enough to get it started.
Thanks much. I don't need a ticket. I need 1 hour of coffee with you. Okay, answer me on LinkedIn. Thanks.
Thanks.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. Did you get into the trouble with the team size as others had?
The team size, you mean?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, yeah. So right now we are a team of 40 people. So it's pretty large. At the same time, what I think, because we had to change the way we think about ourselves from a tech company towards a gaming company, game development company, we have a lot of, most of our team is actually artists. So people who work on art, on environment, on characters, on animations, on sound. And a lot of the work can actually be delegated towards a manager. So for example, we have an environment lead who has 6, 7 people underneath him. We have a character lead who has 4 people, 5 people underneath him. So at least for a game development company, because some of the work is a little bit more streamlined and it's pretty clear what you have to do for the next 3 months rather than it's very unstructured for a tech company or a tech startup. We found it that that games, they require actually more capital investment up front. So that's why it's a little bit trickier again to raise from VCs in games, because you do need to produce a lot of art to be able to show a hypothesis. So in our last fundraise, we actually had a few VCs tell us you probably need too much capital to prove it, so we're gonna go out.
good.
Hey, Anton. Thanks for the talk. I have a question about the app itself. So does it help fall asleep? Does it help some way with the sleep itself? Or it's just a game? Because, this tendency that, doctors and people who care about sleep advise you not to use the phone a couple hours before sleep. So what's the take on this?
It's a very good question about the product. So I think there used to be like another app from Belarus, there still is, that
Luna?
Luna, yeah, exactly, where you actually need to use the app right before you're falling asleep. So we take a slightly different approach. We are a morning app for you. So we care about your sleep score. We don't want you to end the day with the app. You want to start the morning with Sleepagotchi, effectively get a sleep score, and then depending on the sleep score, you get a reward. So, and we care about your sleep discipline, not your sleep quality. So we care about when you went to bed and when you woke up. Those are the 2 critical components in healthy sleep. So yeah, the short question is we are a morning app, although we are called Sleepagotchi, and this is one of the challenges we found in communicating us, because a lot of people are skeptical because, I don't want to play a game, I want to have a screen on top of me before I go to bed.
All right, I see, thanks. Fun fact, we studied in the same lyceum, and the next year I studied with your partner Alex in the same group at the uni. So small world.
No way, very cool. I was actually different. I was number 2, lyceum. Oh, okay, well, because Alex was a big lycée, so. Oh, I see. He dropped out. I remember, like very fast.
Know who got the ticket?
Hi, thanks for your presentation. I have a question about the product itself as well. Since it's a game, did you use any engine or did you develop your own proprietary technology, and how do you think it went? Was it a good decision to use your own technology rather than existing engine? Thank you.
Yeah, good question. So the very first prototype, we built it out in Swift, and it didn't have a graphical engine. It just had 2D pre-renders. So we were basically allowing people to generate rooms and earn items and generate rooms. We didn't have engine expertise, so we actually paid an artist to do 100,000 pre-renders of all possible combinations of items in the room. So the app was very light. It was basically query, the image of the room of one of the 100,000 possible combinations. And then we realized, okay, well, this doesn't scale. We need to professionalize. So we just picked Unity for cross-platform development. And actually, we proved the hypothesis that sleep gamification can have good retention using Swift, very fast to develop, very cheap. And then we pivoted to Unity. And our big challenge for us is how can we actually give you good UX UI on Unity, because it's not really optimized for UX UI, it's optimized for games. But I would definitely advise you to use either Unity or Unreal. Never do your own engine. going to be massive cost center for you.
Thank you.
The last question, and then we choose the winner.
Hello, Anton. Thank you, first of all, for your speech. And I want to ask one question about like the beginning of your speech. You said that you understood from the first steps, but you have like quite a small audience. And so did you have any doubts about like next steps and developing of your project and launching, or you thought like about scaling the target, or what was your thoughts like and strategy at first? Thank you.
Yeah, good question. So very first we sort of started the development of the prototype at the same time as speaking to users. So Alex and his brother developing the app, and I was, literally walking around school or calling my friends, trying to find anyone who tracks water intake and understand their pains. I realized that most people, at least on the campus, they use like a jug of water, and it has, like 9 p.m., 6 p.m., 3 p.m., etc., like time zones, etc. Yeah, it became pretty clear that I asked, what games do you play? Oh, I don't play any games. So 1 month after that, after we started developing, for me the hardest part was actually going back to Alex and telling him, hey, Alex, actually, sorry for convincing me to this idea. So the big idea was that, hey, we're onto something. Probably we already have the prototype. Let's just pivot to Sleep. Let's just see if it works or not. And I think if Sleep didn't work out, we would probably do pivot again and come up with something different.
Need to choose someone?
Yeah, good questions overall.
The guy from Harvard?
I think we will. I think the question about the fundraising is pretty good.
If you can present it. Woohoo! Thank you very much.